Imagine stepping outside at night, looking up, and seeing lights hovering over your town. Not one, not two, but swarms. Over neighborhoods, over highways, near military sites, near critical infrastructure. And nobody, at least publicly, seems to know what they are. So naturally, the internet did what the internet does best. It grabbed a Red Bull, put on a tinfoil crown, and screamed, "The UFOs are here!" But this story? This story is better than aliens, because it's about something even stranger. How a few real drone incidents, a lot of uncertainty, some spectacularly bad communication, and humanity's ancient love of sky monsters combined to create a modern-day panic wave across the United States. Federal agencies later said they reviewed thousands of reported sightings and found no evidence of anything anomalous or of a national security threat in the New Jersey wave. Tonight, we descend into the rabbit hole of drone swarms, military incursions, UFO fever, mass suggestion, and the terrifying truth that sometimes the scariest thing in the sky is not what's up there. It's what your brain thinks it sees. The drone swarms that sparked mass UFO panic. The sky starts whispering. In late 2024, reports of mysterious drones began spreading through New Jersey and nearby states. People described bright objects at night, sometimes in groups, sometimes near sensitive locations, sometimes as large as cars, sometimes moving in ways that seemed coordinated. The FBI opened a tip line in early December, and officials later said they received thousands of public reports. And that is the moment a mystery stops being local gossip and becomes folklore in real time. Because once the words mysterious aircraft enter the bloodstream of the public imagination, every blinking light in the heavens gets promoted to possible non-human surveillance platform. A plane? Maybe. A hobby drone? Could be. Venus? Suspicious. Your neighbor's cousin's ring camera reflection? Clearly interdimensional. This is how it always starts, not with proof, with pattern hunger. Human beings are not just observers, we are meaning machines. We do not merely see lights, we narrate them. Why people got scared so fast? Now, to be fair, people were not crazy for paying attention. Some sightings were reported near military facilities and critical infrastructure. Federal statements acknowledged a limited number of visual sightings over military facilities, and separate reporting on Langley Air Force Base described a 17-day stretch of suspicious drone activity in late 2023 that helped intensify concern about real drone incursions over sensitive U.S. sites. That matters because there are really two stories here. Story number one, there is a legitimate, documented security problem involving unauthorized drones around sensitive sites. Story number two, that real problem created the perfect atmosphere for a much larger public panic. And once those two stories fused together, every suburban blinking light inherited the dread of a military threat. That's the recipe. Real incidents, incomplete information, official ambiguity, social media amplification, and a public already marinated in distrust. That stew cooks fast. And brother, by the time it starts boiling, nobody's asking whether the pot is real. They're asking whether the mothership is parked offshore. Yes, people really floated theories like foreign surveillance and even an Iranian mothership, which the Pentagon publicly rejected, which is a sentence that sounds fake while being true. Enter the Great American UFO Reflex. America has a long tradition of looking at weird things in the sky and deciding with astonishing confidence that either the government is lying, aliens are here, or both are on the same payroll. This is not a bug in the culture, it is a feature. From Foo Fighters in World War II to flying saucers in the 1940s to modern UAP obsession, the sky has always been a screen onto which we project our era's deepest fears. In the atomic age, it was invasion.
In the Cold War, it was espionage. In the Internet era, it is surveillance, secrecy, autonomous machines, and the quiet suspicion that somebody, somewhere, is running a beta test over your backyard. So when people in New Jersey started seeing clusters of lights, they were not just seeing objects, they were seeing a story template already waiting in their minds. A template labeled, "Unknown things in the sky equals probably terrible." And social media does not calm that down. Social media takes uncertainty, puts EDM under it, zooms in 800%, adds red circles, and captions it, "Why is no one talking about this?" Meanwhile, literally everyone is talking about it. That's the trick. The government response, a masterclass in making people more nervous. When panic starts, the public wants one thing: clarity. What they usually get is a sentence that sounds like it was written by a committee of frightened staplers. Federal agencies said they had no evidence the reported New Jersey sightings posed a national security or public safety threat, and later said that after reviewing thousands of reports, they had identified nothing anomalous. Most cases involved lawful drones, manned aircraft, or misinterpretations. Now, read that emotionally, not logically. To officials, that statement means, "Please remain calm." To the public, it often sounds like, "So you're telling me there are mysterious things overhead, you don't fully know what all of them are in real time, but you'd also like us to relax." That is not reassurance. That is bureaucratic jazz. And then the FAA imposed temporary drone flight restrictions over parts of New Jersey and New York City in December 2024, calling them precautionary and tied to security concerns around critical infrastructure. Now the public hears, they say there's no threat, but they're banning flights. That contradiction, even when explainable, pours rocket fuel on suspicion. Because in public psychology, contradiction is not processed as nuance, it is processed as concealment. The human brain, beautiful, brilliant, absolutely dramatic. Let's talk about the real alien technology in this story, the human mind. Your brain is not a camera, it is a prediction engine. At night, distance is hard to judge, scale is hard to judge, speed is hard to judge, direction is hard to judge. And if you've already heard there are mysterious drones overhead, your brain becomes a highly motivated intern trying to connect every dot. This is why psychologists and commentators described the 2024 wave as a social panic phenomenon, layered on top of some genuine drone concerns. Analysts noted that widespread attention can make people notice ordinary aircraft and lights they would normally ignore. That does not mean everyone was lying. It means perception is contagious. One person says, "I saw a silent craft." The next person goes outside and notices a plane they normally wouldn't notice. And now they film it badly, which, to be fair, is humanity's default setting when confronted with mystery. And now the blurry evidence enters the ecosystem, shared, clipped, enhanced, cropped, debated, narrated. By dawn, the object has evolved from possibly a plane to triangular surveillance drone with stealth characteristics and unknown origin. By lunch, it's extraterrestrial. By dinner, somebody's uncle has connected it to ancient prophecy. We are a very efficient species. But wait, some drone threats are very real. Now this is where the story becomes serious. Just because many public sightings were misidentifications or ordinary aircraft does not mean drone threats are imaginary. Far from it. Senior U.S. military officials said there had been hundreds of drone incursions over military installations in recent years, and the Langley episode became a major warning sign that inexpensive unmanned systems can challenge even advanced defenses. That is the real strategic nightmare, not little green men, little flying machines. Cheap, available, hard to track, easy to modify, capable of surveillance, disruption, smuggling, mapping, intimidation, or worse. A drone does not need to be extraterrestrial to be terrifying. It just needs a battery, a camera, a competent operator, and a mission. So the lesson here is not, ha, everyone was dumb. The lesson is a real security problem collided with a social contagion problem, and the collision made both harder to understand, because once the sky fills with noise, the signal gets buried. That may be the darkest twist of all. Mass panic can become camouflage. How a modern panic spreads. Let me show you the anatomy of a 21st century panic. Step 1. A few unusual or poorly explained events happen. Step 2. Authorities acknowledge them but cannot instantly provide satisfying answers. Step 3. Clips spread online faster than verification. Step 4. People start scanning the environment for more examples. Step 5. Ordinary things get reclassified as
Extraordinary. Step 6. Every correction sounds like a cover-up. Step 7. The panic becomes self-propelling. That is exactly why the New Jersey wave became such a phenomenon. Officials gathered thousands of tips, but the more the story spread, the more the universe of possible drones ballooned to include lawful drones, aircraft, stars, and all the usual suspects of nighttime misidentification. It's basically the same social mechanism as hearing there are bedbugs in the hotel, and then suddenly every itch becomes a federal case. Except instead of bedbugs, it's airspace anxiety. And instead of a mattress, it's the sky, which is unfortunately much bigger. The reveal. So what were the swarms? The most grounded answer is not sexy, but it is powerful. There was no single explanation. Federal agencies said the sightings were a mix of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, law enforcement drones, manned aircraft, and inaccurate reports. They said they found nothing anomalous in the New Jersey surge. That is important, because the mystery was not one giant hidden object. It was a giant hidden category error. People assumed all the lights belonged to the same phenomenon, but many likely did not, and that's how the panic achieved lift. The mind loves unity. It loves one villain, one answer, one hidden hand. But reality is often messier. Reality says some were real drones, some were normal aircraft, some were misperceptions, some may have been security relevant, many became amplified by repetition. That's less cinematic than alien mothership over New Jersey, but it is far more revealing, because it shows you how modern myth is manufactured, not in a Hollywood studio, in the feedback loop between uncertainty, institutions, and human imagination. The bigger question. And maybe that's why this story hit so hard, because it touched a nerve deeper than drones. People no longer trust what they're told. They no longer trust what they see, and increasingly, they don't know which of those is more dangerous. A blinking light overhead becomes the perfect symbol for the age we live in. Visible, unclear, shared instantly, explained badly, fought over endlessly. The drone panic was not just about machines in the sky. It was about a civilization losing confidence in its ability to agree on what is happening right in front of it. That is bigger than UFOs. That is bigger than drones. That is epistemological horror with propellers. Payoff. So no, the great drone swarms probably did not prove an alien invasion, but they did reveal something uncanny. How quickly mystery becomes mania. How easily a real threat becomes myth. How fast fear fills in the blanks. And maybe the next time the sky starts blinking over a nervous town, the first question won't be, are we being visited? Maybe it should be, who benefits when nobody can tell what's real? Because in an age of drones, disinformation, surveillance, and viral panic, the most powerful aircraft in the sky may be the story flying underneath it. And that is how drone swarms sparked mass UFO panic. If you want more stories where science, fear, technology, and human imagination collide, subscribe now.
And in the comments, tell me, if you saw a cluster of lights hovering over your city tonight, would your first guess be drones, secret military tech, or something not from this world? And if you want the next episode, I'll do one on how real military drone incursions got buried inside internet hysteria.